What's a movie you shouldn't take a date to?
I don't know. What?
I'll tell you. Hey, so this is us talking. I'm Jason,
Isaac?
and we're gonna kind of talk about what movies that are inappropriate to take a date to. Okay, so what are your thoughts? I actually don't really know a specific movie to not take a date to, but what are your thoughts?
I was thinking just in general, like any horror movie that's too gory. Like horror movies would be good in general, but well, I don't know, for the most part, but not something like Evil Dead
Uh, I have
or
to say, like, the Dead series, like the George A. Romero ones, like, those are pretty cool to go to. I wouldn't say inappropriate, but I wouldn't say appropriate.
yeah, I think anything a little bit too gory, probably not.
Yeah, even for me, like, I don't like seeing a whole bunch of gore, so, like, I wouldn't recommend Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, even
That
with
kind of thing.
with like even with the Evil Dead, like the original ones, the Sam Raimi ones, the gore is over the top and it's not
Oh, yeah.
believable, but it's still
It's a zombie movie,
it's not.
Your head has to explode and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? So, for me, like, I don't know. Like some people would suggest, like, oh, don't take her to an action, just shoot 'em up. But not everyone hates those. So
Yeah, I
can't
think those are
suggest.
fine.
Yeah, I'd have to say they're fine, but I wouldn't. I'd have to say one a movie to not go on a date to. Is that proper grammar?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think.
would be like a Disney movie, not specifically Disney Pixar or a Pixar movie, but specifically a Disney movie.
Speaking of Disney movies, yesterday I watched what is it? I can't even remember the title now. It's so forgettable. Treasure Planet,
You watch Treasure Planet?
and now I realize why that's not a memorable Disney movie and no one remembers it. Is
I always saw the trailer for it on the front of my Toy Story 2 VHS.
yeah,
Like in the big case, and you like open it up and like, oh, there it is, and like, oh, we forgot to rewind it, and then you rewind it, and then you go through all the commercials.
but yeah, it was kind of awful.
Really?
Like the animation was good, as always. The animation's always great. I can't think of
Well,
any
Treasure
Disney.
Planet was from like what 90?
It's like 2000 ish, like that
Okay.
weird period when they were
I
moving.
I think it was 2002.
Was it? Yeah, it was like
It
around.
was coming soon to DVD,
I don't
and then
even-
it would still be VHS.
Yeah, it's like the Atlantis movies, all the Lilo and Stitch sequels, that kind of
Okay,
era.
that era. Okay, so yeah, that would be the early 2000s era.
But it had this. It was not really a musical, but it had songs in it that were like rock songs, but written specifically for the song for the movie. Yeah, it was. It wasn't very good.
Yeah, it's like you kind of built it up because we talk about this a lot. We talk about Treasure Planet a lot for some weird reason, and then it's just like, oh, because
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
I watched it maybe like 18 hours ago, and I couldn't for the life of me tell you what the plot was.
Ugh.
I think it was like Treasure Island, but
Kind
not
of
sure.
like Treasure Island. I have to say the best movie that is like based around Treasure Planet is like, I mean, Treasure Island is probably Muppets Treasure Island.
That's a good one.
That was good, but yeah. Anyway, back on to our subject. I have to say, like, I wouldn't say every indie film, but there's some that get kind of racy. Even without any speech involved in the film.
Any foreign film also.
Really,
More or
it
less.
really is. I mean, I don't want to condone them, but I guess in a way I am. Because really, I don't know, is like, why is the grade for foreign films, it's not low, but it's risque. Like, the grade is always on that weird line between, like, seeing a James Bond sex scene with your
I don't
parents.
know. A lot of foreign
then-
films aren't really that good.
Well, I don't know. Let me think. Of one that might be good.
I mean, there are good ones.
Life is Beautiful. That was. a
but the
good movie.
majority of them aren't.
Life is Beautiful was an Italian film. It was very good, but for the majority, I would have to agree with you that most foreign films aren't that good, except I guess the ones, you know, some of them win Oscars,
Yeah.
but I'm not exactly sure how many do. I wonder, is the genre like foreign independent?
I think so.
Okay, because I know Samuel Goldwyn does a lot of those kind of indie films,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
So I have to say, don't take a date on an indie film at all.
And for the most part, superhero movies. Well,
It
it
depends on
depends
the
on the type of
superhero.
person. It depends on the person you're taking.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Like you have a story to tell about
Oh
that.
man, don't take fangirls to see the superhero movie.
Well, yeah. Well, fan girls.
Yeah, well, we went and saw Captain America 2.
Not
And
me and him, but
no,
him
no,
and
it
some
was
other people.
me and another guy and two girls, and the girls would not shut up the whole time. And I think I enjoyed the movie, but since they were talking, I couldn't tell if I actually liked the movie.
And you were sitting in the front row, right?
Yeah,
Like
it was packed. It was
Well,
awful.
remember when we went to go see The Hobbit?
Yeah.
The first one, like we went there and then we were like, "Oh, it's gonna be packed." And when we walked in, it wasn't
There weren't a lot of
very
people.
full.
Was that the one? Was that the time when the guy who sat next to us kept falling asleep
Oh,
and
yeah.
he smelled like smoke?
Yeah, he like smoked cigarillos and you like all the
And then, like his wife would like smack him.
yeah,
and wake up
and
for
he
5
was
minutes.
sitting right next to him. He was like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Hey." We were sitting like in the very back, on the farthest right, so it was a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
But minus the snore,
Yeah, and the smoke smell just wafted.
yeah, it was like waft, and you're like,
Yeah.
why? You're just trying to smell normal things, and then that's the only thing you can smell. Because The Hobbit was 4D, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say one of the best experiences I've had in a movie is probably the Lego Movie. That just didn't disappoint.
That was a lot better than I thought it was.
Oh man, I loved it.
Yeah, I was scared it was gonna be like the Disney 3D animated or like the Lego 3D TV shows for kids, the Ninjago or whatever.
The Ninjago, and then I don't know.
Or-
There's quite a few
just
Lego movies on Netflix, and I just haven't seen any of them.
No,
It looks like cutscenes from
their video games.
yeah, their games on their on their website.
Yeah, they
But
don't.
it didn't disappoint, and I would recommend going to see it with a date.
Yeah, well,
Just
not in theaters.
well,
anymore.
it's not in theaters anymore. Maybe one or two. Depends on your theater. But I liked it a bit, quite a bit. Yes, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the most what was the most disappointing film you've been to?
Oh,
One that
man.
was just like, oh, like I have to say, like the most, not appointing, I suppose. The most best film that exceeded my expectations above all was the Lego Movie, and then second was probably, I wouldn't know what the second.
I think the best experience I've had in a theater was probably watching Gravity in 3D. That's not
That would come in as a close second.
It's not the best movie I've seen, but it was the best experience I've had.
It was an amazing experience because it's like, oh man, and even the trailers were in 3D, weren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a Thor 2 trailer and
That was
some
cool
other stuff.
in 3D.
And Hobbit trailer, I believe.
Yeah, for Hobbit 2, less smog. But what was probably the most less degratifying experience you've had? Just like this was horrible. Like the movie wasn't any good. The experience was just terrible.
I don't know about the actual movie. I didn't end up actually seeing the movie, but I went to go see Divergent with a group of my friends, and none of them showed up, so I had to walk home.
But then you met a bunch of other friends, right?
Yeah, but then I made the mistake of going to see Captain America with the same people.
Ooh. Captain America 2.
Yeah.
I'd have to say the most, the worst experience I've had in a theater, not specifically movie, was probably Captain Phillips. because there was this guy right in front of us, and he just kept calling the Somalian pirates horrible racist names, and it's like, oh, this is really uncomfortable. Like, I have a story about Gravity, but I won't go there. It was like just racial slur, and I was like, that was annoying. But that was probably the most disappointing experience I've had, and it wasn't that disappointing. Captain Phillips was a great movie, um, but minus the slurs from the dude in front, it was still fine. But it was probably the best movie you've seen in theaters.
The best one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of movies in theaters. Star Trek 2 was pretty good. In theaters.
I'd have to say yeah to that one. I liked Star Trek.
I can't think of anything else I've seen recently.
Well, don't think recently.
The Hobbit. Oh, well, just in general, I haven't seen a lot. I saw The Hobbit, Gravity, the Lego Movie. I guess the Lego Movie would have to be it.
Really? Okay, cool.
Captain America 2. Almost saw Divergent. I did see the Avengers and Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Avengers was a good movie to watch. I just wouldn't really suggest it for theaters, though. Anyway. So, this has been us talking. Again, we're half a studio form, the other half hasn't been here. Probably never will be. Anyway, again, I'm Jason.
I'm Isaac.
Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and of course, subscribing. Bye. You'd be really nice if you push the button.